Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from, listening. I want to say hello to you, and I want to bring in um, the TikTok community and want to say a special hello to my Extraordinary Women Influencers Facebook group. Did y'all know I had a Facebook group? Uh, it's an amazing group of folk, extraordinary women influencers on Facebook. And I used to stream to them live through StreamYard, and then StreamYard stopped, or Facebook stopped, or somebody stopped. And I wasn't streaming live into them anymore. But then I said, you know what? I got my phone right here. Let's do that. And I understand we coming to you as well. My producer hooked up something real cool. So I want to say hello to the IG community, Instagram, and TikTok. Good morning, TikTok. Today we're going to be talking about a topic. I'm going to be answering a question that I've gotten so often. And just a week or so ago, I got this question from a really good friend of mine. And I said, I'm asked this question frequently. I am going to answer it for folk. And it's all about reinventing yourself when perhaps you're lost, you're stuck, you don't know what to do, what next step to take. And you kind of say, well, I can't reinvent myself because I don't know what to do. I mean, how can I take that step? So I'm going to answer that question today on Dr. Geneva Speaks Live. Welcome, welcome. And we'll have time for some questions or comments that you might have. Please let me know. For those of you who are on YouTube or can switch over to YouTube, please do it. I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. I would love for you to help me do that because I can bring much more information on a regular basis and reach a lot more of you on that channel. So that's something I'm working on in 2025. We all have goals and things that we want to do. So that's what I'm doing in 2025. So if you can jump over to YouTube, please do that. Say hello to me. Let me know you're over there, or watch the replay, or just go over any old time and just go to Dr. Geneva Speaks. That's my YouTube channel. So everybody ready for 4th of July? For those of you in the US, want to say happy Canada Day to yesterday. It was to our friends in Canada. And I particularly call out Canada because I can go to my window and look out and see Canada. That's where I am, right on the Detroit River. And so Canada is right there. So I just wanted to send a special shout out to our Canadian friends. And just let me say good morning to all of you, Lucy and Loss and Maiku and Elect Lady. All right. And Nicole and AA, how are all of you? Dr. Pierre, so good to see you. How's it going there in Texas? So glad you're joining today. And let's see. Okay. Trying to give me just a second because I've got my Harper in the way here, which is another terrific software. People have been asking me about tools and what do I do, but also mainly how I've learned all of these things in my mid 70s. That is how to do StreamYard, live stream, do videos, edit them, come on to y'all every Wednesday and all of that. So I might do some, if you all want to, I will do some lessons on that. Leroy and Apple and Maggie and Susie and Franklin, Sheila, welcome. Deshaun, oh, and Deborah. Oh, the artiste, the dancing extraordinaire. How are you? So good to see you. Okay, so I want to get into it. Again, I say mwah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from. Please share the live to my TikTok community. Share the live and invite more friends. In fact, you could do that on wherever you are, invite more. And if you can't do that now, then please watch the replay. How you doing, Michael and Cougar and Sheila and everybody else? It's so good to see you. IG, I don't know if you're with us. We are on IG. Mwah, mwah. My Instagram community, love you. I'm so glad we were having a little technical issues, but we worked it because we wanted you in on this conversation. And YouTube, LinkedIn, I'm so glad you're here. So I want to answer the question of that I've gotten from a number of people. And just last week or so, one of my very good friends asked me that the same question. So I said, well, I want to take some time to answer it. And the question is, how do I reinvent myself when I don't know what I want yet? And you know what's hard? Trying to start over when you don't even know what you want next. Yeah, I understand the question. I've been there. It was a Tuesday morning. I remember it well. I was sitting at my kitchen table with my cup of tea. I'm not a coffee drinker, but a tea drinker. Love my tea. But I was sitting at my kitchen table, drinking my tea, staring out of the window. I had just stepped away from a successful career and was dealing with tremendous family loss. My husband and both of my parents, within months of each other, I lost them. And I whispered to myself, what do I do now? Maybe you're asking yourself that same question. Maybe you're thinking it's too late, or you're just too old to start over. I thought that too. Not in frustration, I was just tired and unsure. Now, your story, though, might be different from mine. Maybe you're dealing with an empty nest for the first time. Maybe you're considering a career change after 20 years in the same field. Maybe you're going through a divorce or caring for aging parents, or just waking up one day realizing the life you've built doesn't quite fit anymore. Here's what I know: midlife brings transitions, big ones, and nobody really prepares us for this part of life. We get tons of advice about starting careers and raising families. But what about when your kids leave home, when your marriage ends, when the job you've had forever doesn't fulfill you anymore, when life throws you a curveball you've never saw coming? If you're in one of these transitions right now, asking, How do I reinvent myself when I don't know what I want yet? You're not alone. And here's the thing, the fact that you don't know yet doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're ready for something different. It means uncertainty is temporary. What you need isn't more time to figure it out. What you need is a process that works no matter what brought you to this moment. So let me walk you through what I call my next steps reinvention framework or process. This is what helped me move from that confused woman I talked about at the kitchen table to launching a thriving business in my late 60s. And it's helped hundreds of other women over 50 begin again. Women who felt just as lost and uncertain as you might feel right now. Step one is your mindset. First, you've really got to change the story you've been telling yourself. But let's talk about something really powerful first. That word yet. When you say, I don't know what I want yet, it's not just a word, it's a promise you're making to yourself. It's saying, I haven't given up on me. And here's what I love about it. Yet means you believe in a future version of yourself that knows more than you do right now. You're trusting that woman, the one you're becoming, to figure this out. Here's what's wild. Psychologists call this a growth mindset. Have you heard of that? And just adding the word yet to any statement literally rewires your brain. I can't do this versus I can't do this yet. Your brain hears those as completely different instructions. The first one's kind of feels final. It's like over. I can't do this. The second one, it has energy. It has possibility. Now, if your story sounds like, I should have figured it out by now, or it's too late to start something new, that's not the truth. That's fear dressed up like fact. And if you're thinking, I should have figured this out by now, that's exactly why this process, this framework I'm getting ready to go through, works for women our age. So here's a better story in this first step. Tell yourself, I've done hard things before. I can do this too, even if I don't have all the answers yet. Because here's the truth. The first step to figuring out what you want is believing you can figure it out. When you shift from feeling lost and stuck to trusting that clarity is coming, you move from paralysis to possibility. Okay? If any of you have experienced this, drop me a comment. Let me know. Are you telling yourself a story that really, when you think about it, ain't true? Well, here's step number 2 that you can take to answer the question, how do I reinvent myself when I don't know what I want yet. So you might be wondering, well, how do I start then figuring out what I want? You give yourself permission to dream again. After years of focusing, I know, on everybody else's needs, on practical responsibilities, on what you should do, it's time to reconnect with what lights you up inside. Here's what I want you to do: close your eyes, and think about the last time you felt truly alive. What were you doing? Who were you with? What made that particular moment special? That feeling, not the exact situation, that feeling, that's your starting point. You don't need a full plan yet. You just need to imagine what it could look like if it felt right. Okay? That's this vibrant vision I want you to imagine. And here's a powerful exercise. Ask yourself some key questions. What would I do if I had no fear? What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What did I dream about when I was a child? What do I see people I admire doing? Okay, so those are some key questions that you can ask. You can, you know, just stop right now. And well, don't stop right now. Listen to, we're going through this. Stay with me till we get through this framework here, this process. But when we finish, you can ask yourself these questions. They're simple questions, but they're so powerful. Here's another thing I want you to do. I want you to try finishing this sentence. I want to. So you fill in the blank. It's really simple. Sit down for 10 minutes and fill in those blanks. And one of the most powerful things you can do is write it down. Get those thoughts from your head and your heart onto paper where you can actually see them. This is very liberating, and it helps you focus in a way that just thinking never does. And this isn't just dreaming. This is the bridge between not knowing what you want and beginning to know. When you give yourself permission to explore these possibilities and on paper, you're moving from that uncertainty we talked about to the first glimpses of clarity. Okay. Now, step 3. So, okay, you've shifted your mindset and you're starting to see some possibilities. But now what? So, how do you actually move from I think I might want to do this to I'm making this happen? Now, this is where a lot of women get stuck again. They worry, well, what if I choose wrong? What if I waste time? What if I don't have enough information to make a good decision? How can I move from something where I've been so well established for many years? How do I do this? Here's what I've learned. When you're reinventing yourself, you need more than just hope and good intentions. You need a real plan, not because you have to have every detail figured out, but because having a roadmap, even a rough one, gives you something to follow when the uncertainty feels overwhelming. So as these questions and you worry and you feel stuck again, get in your mind, having this roadmap, this game plan helps. Think about it. You wouldn't, I don't think, take a cross country road trip, them road trips, without some idea of where you're going, of your route. Reinventing your life is the same kind of journey. You need direction, even if you make stops and detours along the way. That's all right, but you need some kind of direction. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is where my background comes in. For 40 years, I helped communities, organizations, and individuals create strategic plans. I've got credentials in strategic planning and design and have done it for hundreds of organizations. The community planning, the strategic planning, the life design. That's my expertise. And that day, I was telling you, I was sitting at my kitchen table with my tea. I realized, wait, I can use those same design and strategic planning skills for my own life. So I created a real plan, not just wishful thinking, a strategic roadmap with clear goals that matter to me, specific steps to get there, resources I needed, timelines that made sense. And then I took those skills and began to help others learn how to use a game plan, developing a game plan, a strategic roadmap for their own personal lives and personal reinvention. But here's what's real about that. Now, even with that solid plan, I still had to take it one step at a time. Okay. When I was rebuilding my life, my first small goal was simple: have one meaningful conversation each week with someone outside of my usual circle. That was it. Not build the network, just one conversation. Now, my goal was the big goals, build a new network, reestablish your connections. But my implementation was very measured, small bites, the one conversation that can make a difference, the one phone call. So planning clearly gives you the direction that you need, but the small steps give you momentum because they add up to massive action. So, see, this is how you reinvent yourself, even when you don't know exactly what you want. You with me? You don't need perfect clarity to start. You just need enough direction to take the next step, and then the next one, and the next one after that. That's how you move from, I don't know what I want, to I'm building the life I want. So, step 4, and finally, in the middle of all this figuring out, don't forget to take care of yourself. I've worked with many different organizations, many different groups, many women's group. I've seen lots of frameworks for change management, for reinvention. This one that I'm talking about, that's in my process, what I discovered worked for how to successfully reinvent yourself, like I have. This step is either missing from many frameworks or isn't given the kind of attention that it should be, and that is to take care of yourself. Now, I know it sounds simple, but when you're in transition, it's easy to put this on hold, until you get your life together. But here's the thing: joy and self care aren't rewards for having it all figured out, they're fuel for the journey. So you don't wait till you got it all together to say, oh, well, now I can take care of myself. No, you need that for where you're going. Make space for what brings you joy today. Call a friend, take a walk, dance to that old song that you love. Joy keeps you going when the uncertainty feels heavy. And give some joy too. Volunteer at a local organization, mentor a young woman starting her career, help a neighbor. When you share your gifts with others, even in the tough times, it comes back to you tenfold. So, this process of finding joy for yourself and giving joy to others is the crucial fourth step to reinventing yourself, even when you don't know what you want yet. So, I've answered this question of how do you reinvent yourself when you don't know what you want yet? You stop telling yourself it's too late and start believing you can figure it out. You give yourself permission to dream again and explore what lights you up. You create a roadmap, even a rough one, and take it one step at a time. And you take care of yourself through the whole messy, it will be the beautiful process. And remember, you don't need to have it all figured out to begin. You just need enough clarity to take the next step. And if you're ready to get started, there's a free guide I've created that walks you through these steps with space for your own answers, right there in the guide. So you can download it. It's called Reinvention After 50, Your Strategic Action Plan. Wouldn't you know it? And you can use this to take your first step toward the life that's been waiting for you, that is there for you. So that's the answer to the question of how you can reinvent yourself, even what you don't know, even if you don't know what it is that you want yet. Remember that powerful yet word. So, what are your questions or comments? Let me check out what we've got in the uh, comments here, and how I just want to say hello to all of you who are again with me. So I see we have one question. Everyone says trust the process, but how do I trust myself when I've made mistakes before? Oh, yes. This whole phenomena about learning to trust yourself again after rough times, after you've made those mistakes. This is a biggie, and it's again a process. So let me first say that I want you to take a deep breath and understand that this is a process and you ain't alone, because there are many people struggling with trying to figure out, how do I trust myself again when I've lost a loved one or made mistakes, or feel guilty about decisions that I've made. So first thing, understand you're not alone and you can do this. The second thing I want you to do is, I I want you to find, think about, identify a situation, a time in your life where you did something right, where it worked out fantastic, where you achieved something great, maybe even surprised yourself that you were able to do it. I want you to focus on that and think about how you felt when you did it, uh, how you felt about yourself. Um, think about the feeling you had when you were trusting yourself in that time when you made a difference, you did it right, you made the right decision, you accomplished what you set out to. That's what I want you to focus on. I want you to try to capture that feeling, how you felt about yourself. And then I want you to ask yourself, well, what did I do then? Because whatever you did then to be successful in that situation, and I'm sure there's lots of situations when you actually stop and think about it, whatever you did then in that situation, hey, you want to recreate it for the next time, because you know you've been, although now you may be questioning yourself and you're low on self trust, there was a time, there were times when you did trust yourself. So, what you're basically trying to do is recapture that feeling, those steps, what you did, and bring them forward to reclaim and embrace and use going forward. So that's what I do. And then, of course, those steps that I outlined, I just finished outlining, you can do the replay and all of that. You need to use those because that will help you as well, too. Okay. I see we have time for a couple of other questions. I just want to say I said hello to Deborah. Deshawn, how you doing? Virginia, is that Virginia Dean? That's my soul roar. How you doing, Kathleen? How you doing? Mwah. Virginia, how you doing? It's so good to see you. Give my love to you, your family, Tex, the whole folk there. Eleanor, Pink Rose, Ski, all of you. Thank you for uh, joining, for your comments, etc. Yeah, trust the process, but how do we trust ourselves? Yeah, so let me see what other questions we have here that we'll have time to answer. Let me go over to another screen. How you all doing? Did you all enjoy this conversation? Uh, Please let me know. Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Um, okay, so we got a question from Sassy on IG. If you have expertise in multiple fields, how do you decide which one to focus on without confusion? Well, let me tell you, Sassy, first thing, congratulations. First thing you want to do, and I mean this sincerely, congratulations to you. What you want to do is revel in that, embrace that. That those are assets. Okay. So you want to upgrade, uptick, embrace, hold up your assets and decrease, de-emphasize your liabilities. Okay. And so these assets, they're terrific. They're wonderful. And so the question about confusion and focusing, well, one of the things I would do is to figure out where is it that I want to go, because it's not about uh, trying to diminish those assets or pick one over the other. it really is about, where do I want to go? What's my goal? What do I want to be? What's that vision? What am I trying to do? Are you looking to change careers from where you are now to something new and different? Are you looking to advance in the organization that you're in? Are you looking to write a book? Where is it that you're going? And then figure out how all of these assets can help you get to the point that you want to go. So if that's, the question, the point is that too often we dwell on the negative or our limitations, as opposed to embracing and building and leveraging our assets. So I don't want you to do any of that. And the confusion that you might have shouldn't be about the assets. It should be about getting clarity on where I want to go, what I want to do, and how I can leverage all of my assets. And then the other thing I'll just say is, when you have a portfolio of assets, you might not use each one all at the same time. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I'm sure that each one of the assets that you have, that they in fact can be seen as strengths, and you can use them wherever you do, whatever you go. Okay. But get clarity on where you want to go, and then determine how you use your assets. Oh, Sharna's B says, hello from IG. How you doing? Okay. I can take, so Sassy, let me know if that helped you. Please give me some feedback. If you want to go further in that, just let me know. How you doing, Tough Brenda and Palmer and Pamela? I'm glad you joined us. How you doing? Okay. In my Facebook group, that's Extraordinary Women Influencers. I'm sending out a special hello. We're back to streaming live again. I'm so delighted that you're with me. That's my Facebook group, Extraordinary Women Influencers. Come and join if you're not a part of that yet. Yet. I want to say hello also to Gina and Detroit Fresh 313 and Camp Dinner Table and Monique, the agent. All right. Now, y'all know Monique Williams Woods, the agent. She is the agent. I mean, she really is. If you want, because insurance isn't just being insured, it's being taken care of. And that's what she does. Monique, the agent. Roz Jules and Seven Alol. Thank you all so much. I know there were some other questions. I think I can take one more. Can we take one more, Karina? Let's see. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. And then this will be the last question. Is it, these are two goodies. Let me go with this one. My kids just left for college and I feel lost without them. How do I rediscover who I am outside of being a mom? Ooh, wee. That be real. That's real. But I got to start off with saying congratulations to you, because if your young folk are off to college, that means you done a good job somewhere along the line. So one of the things that's important to do is take time and take a deep breath and congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the back for this. That ain't no easy feat in these days and times. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, you got to know that you are not alone. There are women all over this country, millions who are having those same kinds of feelings. And the reason is because of the identity that you've built up over that 16, 17, 18 years. And it's not going away. Your mom, your mom. Now, you always, a piece of you is going to be mom. But during those grow up formative years, as you're shaping the minds and thoughts and doing everything you can to give your children everything, so that they can be who they want to be. Your mom identity was big. Okay. Once they go out the house, go off on their own, that kind of decreases. So that you're feeling that loss. And it's important for you to understand that's a loss. And with loss, we do what? We grieve. And we go through various emotions, okay, with any loss. So that process you're going through a grieving process. And I just want you to understand that that's natural and normal, and you ain't alone. Now, I went through that grieving process too. But I'm going to tell you that grief kind of stopped when my children went out and quickly became financially independent. I'm so proud of them. And they went out, and I turned around and they was out my pocketbook. That can help the grieving process. So let me just put that in there. Okay. But how do you find yourself? So you're at a crossroads, because you can continue. And I've known women who've done this, who grieve and grieve and grieve and really have difficulty getting out of that, reshaping, reforming that identity. But it is time to do that. So you're at a crossroads. This is a time when it's so important for you to think about the reinvention process that I outlined. So you're going to think about your story and what you're telling yourself, that, you've probably been telling yourself, well, I'm a mom and I don't know what to do next, and I can't do anything next. I've been a mom all my life, and what am I going to do? So whatever them stories is, you're going to shift them, okay? You need to make that shift, and then begin to think about, well, what could you do? What about those dreams that you had? What were the dreams you had when you were a child, but you might have had to put them to the side because you were raising kids? But you probably weren't just raising kids. You probably were a spouse. You also doing your career. You had a whole bunch of other things going on. So as we start to think about the new identity, I'm not sure it's all new, because you're going to build on your foundation. But as you're rediscovering and reshaping the identity for your next phase of life, that's so important, because you want to live, don't you? You want to live vibrantly, don't you? You want to keep on keeping on, don't you? So it's imperative and essential that you dream about what you can be, imagine those possibilities, and then you got to put together a game plan and take it step by step. And that's why go on and get that Reinvention After 50 guide that I've got. It perfect for you. It'll take you through the steps. Okay. That's all you need. You just need a process, and that process will help you. So again, congratulations. Go on, take the next steps. That's what our responsibility is as parents, to raise these wonderful human beings so that they can go out in the world and be better and do wonderful things. We raise them to leave the house, don't we? So, but now that it's here, people don't prepare us for it. I know that. There isn't a playbook, and that's why I do what I do. And that's why I came to you for today's lesson. But I think I'm getting the signal, that's all we have time for today. So everyone on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. I'm so glad all of you were able to join. Did I get everybody? I think those are all the communities. And I wanted to say a special shout out to my Facebook group, Extraordinary Women Influencers. Thank you for being here today. That's all for today. We're here every Wednesday, 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you all. Go out and enjoy the beautiful weather. If you've got weather like we have here in Detroit, see you later. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got to do this one thing from Detroit Fresh. She says, "Hey, Dr. Geneva, I used some of the gems that you've been dropping, and it led me to a great networking opportunity. So thank you so much and keep doing what you do." What a wonderful note to end on. Thank you, Detroit Fresh 313. See you.